I'll have a
Drytron deck list.
How original.
and with
Megalith.
Daring today, aren't we?
What's going on, guys? Logan JYA, Drykage here, and today I got a treat for you. A video I've been promising for a while now. It's going to be part one of our comprehensive Drytron combo tutorials. Dude, we've got a lot of Drytron gas to show you. I want to cover combos for every build of this deck eventually and have them all recorded on my channel. And of course, we have a bunch of them in our playlist that you can check out on the channel down below. But today we're going to be going through a whole bunch of different builds. No deck profiles in this one, but just different combo tutorials and different combo lines. See what kind of cards you can play in your Drytron decks. So without further ado, we're going to hop into things. We're going to be starting with Alpha Zeta combos. At the end of the video, though, I'm going to show you how to play with a one-name hand and access to Ben 10. So that can be, you know, any way to Zeta or Alpha or something like that to get you started, and then how you kind of play out of that situation. And then I'm going to show you guys my favorite high ceiling combo with my favorite build to play in this current format. So if you want to see what that is, stick around to the end of the video. Without further ado, let's get things popping with the first Drytron combo in this video. Let's get it. All right, guys, you already know we're starting things off with our boys Alpha and Zeta in this combo, but you already know that you can not just have to have these, you can have Emergency, you can have Nova, you can have Fafnir, you can have Terraforming, Foolish. They all get you to the same thing. And before you say, Logan, we already know how to play with Alpha Zeta. You don't know every darn combo I'm about to show you. And we're going to start off with an interesting one that you may have never seen before. I know I've never played it in a real build before. But the cool thing about this combo is you can do it with bare minimum engine. If you're just playing two Ben 10s and a Draco Nids, you can do this combo. You don't need that many rituals. And there's some people who like to play that way because they see the rituals as bricks. I personally don't fall in that camp, but maybe you do, and this might be the combo for you. So without further ado, let's hop into this first combo. Let's get it. All right, guys, you already know the first step. As if it wasn't obvious, we're going to alpha pitch Zeta, grab our homie Ben 10 to the hand like so. We'll use Zeta's effect in the grave, pitching off that Ben 10, using it to search out the Meteonis. Now, the Ben 10 is going to be able to search the Diviner here, of course, and that is going to be essential for our plays. Now, the cool thing about this combo is very much like our Megalith builds, it plays around Nibiru. Now, Nibiru isn't the biggest threat in this current format, but this combo is going to be really good in those formats where it creeps back in, all right? So just keep that in mind as we're going through this. It plays around Nibiru pretty well. Next thing we're going to do, of course, is overlay for our boy Moy Beta Fafnir. Check out that gorgeous extended art, guys. Check that out. Shout out to our girl Brio from Chaos Painting Games. Looks absolutely gorgeous. We're going to Foolish Burial with our homie here, sending off a copy of Gamma from Deck to Grave. From there, we are going to normal summon the Diviner and use its effect. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4 summons deep, and our next thing we're going to search by sending the Herald is going to be our second copy of Ben 10. Like I said, you can use this combo with bare minimum ritual lineup, which is what's kind of cool about it. So next step we're going to do is activate the Meteonis for the first time here. We're going to detach off of Moy Beta and summon back that Ben 10 from the grave like so. We're going to take these two, we're actually going to sync them off into the Ultimaya Tzolkin on the top. Now this may seem kind of weird, right? But we had two level 6s, right? Diviner's a tuner, Ben 10 is the non-tuner, and that does get us into Ultimaya legally. So anyway, moving on from here. So if they don't nib us before this point, they probably would drop the nib here, and if they did, the cool thing is we still got our Ben 10 on lock and grave, which actually gives, or excuse me, we still have our Gamma on lock and grave, so we're still able to play. But we're going to use Meteonis' effect in grave, reducing the Fafnir to add it back to hand, and then we're going to set that to the back row to trigger Ultimaya's effect, which is going to give us a free Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on the board like so. Next step, what you're going to do is use that Gamma in the graveyard. Now that we're safe from the Nibiru, we'll use that Gamma in grave, pitching off that Ben 10, special summoning itself and whatever name you detached off Moy Beta. And then this Ben 10 search, for this particular combo line, you can kind of grab whatever. It's not really going to matter. So in this situation, we'll grab the Lancea as an additional form of interruption, pseudo floodgate, you know the like. Again, Splight's not the worst thing because you completely cut off the Ronin plays. Against your element, it's kind of mid, but you know, there's still a lot of decks that it can absolutely hit. So just putting it out there. If you had a hard drawn fairy in hand, you search orange, light, things like that. So moving on, we're going to go from here, take any two names like Ultimaya and the Gamma off the board and turn these two into the Artifact Dagda. like so. We'll flip up the Megalith, triggering the Dagda in the back row. This is going to give us a free copy of Scythe into the back row. So we're ready to set up our Scythe lock. And then we detach off of the Moibeta, summon back a Ben 10. You're literally only doing this, like if you had a Delta in hand or another name, you can pitch it here and get another search, which guarantees you an orange light, which is cool. But again, we're just doing this in theory as if it was a 2-card combo, right? So next we'll take these two. Again, we're not really getting maximum value out of that Ben 10, but we are using it as an extender here to go into the Sprite Elf on the top. This guy's gonna be coming up in a lot of these combos, all right, guys? Keep your eyes peeled. It's like an $8 card, guys. Get your hands on it if you don't already have it, just saying. Then we're going to take these two guys off here and turn them into an IP Masquerena. And you may be thinking, in case you're unaware, you'll be like, Logan, how the heck do I trigger that Scythe lock that we set earlier? This is looking like pretty mid-board. Well, let me show you what we're going to do. So when your opponent's main phase rolls around and they pass priority to you, you're going to use Elf's Effect Engrave to special summon back that Diviner and use Diviner's Effect, sending Entis from the extra deck to the grave to trigger it and pop the Scythe. Then we get to use Scythe's effect, summoning that joint back and providing us some blanket negation. Now it goes even further because after that we can either make a 3-piece or a 4-piece Apollosa on top of this, or you can keep your IP locked and loaded for something like an Underworld Goddess or a Boral Sword. So you're really set for monster interruption with this particular build. And like I said, you're playing bare minimum ritual engine. So it's a pretty cool combo, but it's not one of my favorites. Let's move on to another one. All right, guys, our next combo, Alpha Zeta, is going to be featuring one of our favorite good boys, Vanity's Ruler. You've seen this a lot, and I'm going to make sure it's nice, plain, and simple for you guys, because this right here, one of the best darn ways to play the deck right now. It's a cool thing because you can play around interruptions pretty easily. It absolutely murders the Splight deck if they don't have the out to it, because really your end goal is just to summon this good boy right here, right? Now the issue being, it does play into Dark Ruler, but not if we have the Magic Key cards. We're going to show that part as the combo after this one, but the first one is just going to be off Alpha Zeta, and I'll talk a little bit about it as we get into it. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start things off with the obvious stuff, right? Alpha Pitch Zeta. I'm going to literally speed run these parts because you should know what's going on here. Alpha Pitch Zeta at Ben 10, Zeta pitching Ben 10, special summoning itself, adding Megalith like so. Now Ben 10 effect here, this is where we go a little different, right? We're going to add the second copy of Ben 10, 100%. Now, you're going to take these two cards, you're going to overlay them into our good boy Moibeta Fafnir, like so. Moibeta is going to Foolish Burial from deck, sending Zeta, excuse me, what am I saying? Sending Gamma. And then we are going to activate that Megalith on the field, detach, special summon back out that Ben 10 like so. Bing, bing, bong, looking pretty good. Next, we're going to reduce the Moibeta on field, add the Megalith back to our hands, and then we are going to use the effect of Gamma Engrave, pitching off that Ben 10, special summoning the 2 pieces, triggering the Ben 10 effect to search, grabbing ourselves the free copy of Vanity's Ruler like so. Next, we activate our Megalith, detach off Moibeta once again, and then special summon that Ben 10 back from the graveyard like so. We got ourselves a nice full board here. We're going to take 2 of those Ben 10s, sack them off in a tribute summon for the Vanity's Ruler, and we're going to trigger both of their effects to search. This is where it gets really good because we line up the Lancia in our hand as well as the Herald of Orange Light. Or if you wanted to guarantee follow-up, you can instead search the Natasha. So you have a ritual monster you're guaranteed to pitch, right? But more oftentimes than not, you're going to want to go for the Lancia, and then the Orange Light in case the Lancia is not good in the matchup. More oftentimes than not, you want to shotgun this in case of cards like Pot of Prosperity, or a matchup like Floowandereeze where the Vanity's Ruler is not going to be doing diddly squat. But we're not done yet with the combo yet, so we have these 2 hard search in our hand just off Alpha Zeta. We can take 2 of our names. It doesn't really matter. It just depends how you're going for the end board. Take 2 of them, and you're going to turn them into the Herald of Mirage Light, okay? So I lied to you a little bit, right? Because if we Lancia them, we also are backing it up with a Spell or Trap Negate with our boy Mirage Light, which means we're playing around the Infinite Impermanence if they don't use it on our turn, or if they top deck it, some stuff like that. So even if you do shotgun your Lancia, you still have your Orange Light or your Natasha, whichever one you ended up searching, to fuel as a Spell or Trap Negate. Now, we do have an extra Drytron name on field. You can hold this as your follow-up piece, or you can turn it into a Link Karibo if you're choosing to play it. However, when I'm playing Vanity's Ruler builds, I usually try and play Anima, because Anima is another form of interruption. But if you want to, you can turn this into a Link Karibo, or you leave it on field, because if you need it, you can tribute it on Alpha for when your turn rolls back around and get your combo started again. Now, this, guys, is a very, very easy combo, and it's a pretty simple way to play the deck, but it's very, very strong. And the cool thing is you can bait through interruptions. Think about it. I just showed you Alpha Zeta. You're having 3 other cards that could be in your hand. They could be literally anything. They could be talents if you're getting hand trapped. They could be extenders in the forms of different names. They could be other rituals, things of that nature. Preparation of rites, all these other crazy cards. And I'm going to show you what it looks like to go even further beyond with the next combo that's actually a 3-card combo. So let's get into it. All right, guys, our next combo is going to be like I was talking about earlier. It's the Vanity's Ruler build, but this is how we beat Dark Ruler no more in droplets. You guys may already know this one because you've seen a lot of play last format, but I want to reiterate that this is going to be really good, especially when you match up against that tier element deck. They're not playing the hand traps. Even some spite lists are choosing not to play the hand traps. They're playing board breakers. If you listen to our man, Stephen J. Trifanowski, that's how he chooses to do it. But I'm going to show you his kryptonite right now, and that's this particular combo. Now, like I said, it is a 3-card combo, so we've got our good boys here, Alpha and Zeta, in the combo, and you're going to need one of these, any one of these cards in your hand to go along with it. And I think I've showed you guys this combo in the past, but I'm really showing it to you again right now because of how good it is. If you hard open your Alpha, Zeta, or any way to them with any one of these cards, you're going to be guaranteeing the full combo, all right? So if this is a reminder for you guys, feel free to move on to the next combo because I know we got some stuff that'll surprise you, but in case we need to run through the basics, let's run through the basics. I'm going to start things off, of course. Again, we're going to say that we have, I'll do with the prep in hand because this is the theoretically most high ceiling version of it. We'll go Alpha, pitch Zeta, grabbing our friend Ben 10 like so. Zeta effect, pitch Ben 10 as if this is any surprise. Adding that Meteonis to hand. Ben 10 effect will then trigger, grabbing ourselves that second copy of Ben 10, which I snuck over there, and we're looking pretty good so far. Next, we're going to overlay these boys into Moy Beta. Moy Beta effect will Foolish Burial, sending off the copy of Gamma from deck to grave. Next, we'll activate that Meteonis like so, detaching off that Moy Beta, bing, bing, bong, summon back that Ben 10, boom. Looking good so far, right? So this goes to the grave. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go use our preparation of rites here. This is going to search us the Beto Buster out of the deck, and it's going to add back our Meteonis. This is what I meant about the ceiling being a little bit higher in this one because we're going to get a free extra ritual summon with this particular play. Next, we use the effect of Gamma and Grave. We're going to specifically pitch the Ben 10 in hand, and we're going to special summon himself and the other name from the graveyard. Then we'll use that Ben 10 effect in the grave to search, grabbing ourselves the Vanity's Ruler like so. And now, since we have that extra summon, we'll use that Meteonis here, pitch off one of these, summon out the Ben 10. There's a reason we're doing it that way. We can reduce it, add it back to our hand. In fact, actually, let's reduce our Moy Beta, add it back to hand like so, because we want to keep that locked and loaded, and you'll see why in a sec. We'll tribute summon these two for the Vanity's Ruler. Again, we reduced the Moy Beta, don't forget that. Trigger the double Ben 10 search here. So we're going to get our Orange Light and our Lancia again, or the Natasha, whichever one you prefer. And oh, this is looking good. It's already looking diabolical, but we're not done yet because the next thing we're going to do is activate that Meteonis for the last time, pitch off that Zeta, and go for the Beto Buster. And Beto Buster's effect is going to add you the counter trap, which stops spells and traps. So that means Dark Ruler, not an issue. Droplets, not an issue. Talents, not an issue. You don't care. You just throw this card down and be like, nice deck. Now, look at this, right? Okay, we're not done yet. So we have an additional backup monster negate in hand or a Lancia effect. We also have Moy Beta locked and loaded with the material, which gives us spell and trap negate because we control a machine ritual monster. And the opponent can't special summon. You know, no big deal. They just can't special summon. So this is a pretty good combo. And again, guys, I want to reiterate, this is good in the current format. So give this one a try if you're trying to play Drytron. It's a bit more of a simple one. The combo lines aren't as crazy, but we're about to get a little bit crazy, all right, guys? We're going to switch into one of my favorite builds of all time. That's Megalith Drytron. I'm going to show you guys how to play with one name hand first. So if you only open Ben 10 Access plus Zeta, or, you know, Ben 10 Access plus Alpha, something like that, I'm going to show you what you can do to kind of play around that situation because it does happen. And then we're going to finish things off with the most high ceiling, full bust a nut combo that you guys are definitely going to want to see. So I don't want to preface this too much. Let's get into it. All right, guys, moving on. We're getting back into my favorite build, and that's Megalith Drytron. And this current format, it's actually pretty diabolical because you can run through the hand traps. I feel like the Megalith package gives you the ability to really keep on going through interruptions. That's going to be good if you're facing off against things like Splight and the like. Now, mind you, sometimes you're going to have those hands where you only open up with one name. And the cool thing about this combo is that it works in that situation. So any name plus Ben 10 access can get you there, with the exception of Gamma. Gamma's gonna be a little bit trickier. I'm gonna show you one example, but there are a million different ways to do it. So if you're having a little bit of confusion, you're not sure how to do it in a certain situation, be sure to comment it down below and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Now, we did just do a profile on Megalith Drytron, so feel free to check that one out on the channel. But if you guys wanna see my up-to-date build that's gonna be able to do the combo at the end of this video, I wanna help this video get over 100 likes. Enough shameless plugs though. You're here for the combos. Let's get into it. So look at these cards here, all right? I'm going to show you the two different pieces that you need to make this happen, right? In this example, like I said, we're going to be doing Zeta because it is objectively the easiest. And then Ben 10 access. That can be in the form of a normal summonable diviner, a Ben 10, or a preparation of rites to get you there. And again, we're going to do this straight up brass tacks. We're just going to do Zeta plus Ben 10, and that's how we're going to do it. All right, guys, to start things off, we are going to go very simply Zeta pitching off the Ben 10 and using Zeta's effect to grab Megalith from deck. Next, we'll trigger off that Ben 10, and that's going to search us Diviner. Now, if you started off with Diviner, you normal summon that and grab Ben 10. It's just vice versa, so it's pretty simple in case that's how you started things off. The next step is going to be normal summoning off that Diviner, sending off the Herald, and then Herald's effect is going to add you a copy of Megalith Fool from your deck to your hand. Now you're going to activate that Megalith, pitching off that Zeta to summon that Fool from your hand. Then you'll use Fool's effect to add back the Ben 10, and the Megalith will go to the graveyard. Then we'll use Fool's effect on field for some free advantage. We'll pitch off that Ben 10, and that'll let us special summon a Megalith Ophiel from our deck. We're going to be using that later as part of our climbing strategy. Then we can use Ben 10 and Ophiel. We can actually chain block the Ben 10 here if we'd like to do so, adding ourselves another copy of Ben 10 from deck and grabbing ourselves the Megalith Bethor. From here, we're going to take these two guys because they're both at level 6 right now by their own effects, and overlay them for Beatrice. This is what's going to give us more names. So we're going to use Beatrice's effect, detach, send from deck to grave our boy Gamma. And then Gamma's effect in the graveyard is going to pitch off that Ben 10, special summoning itself, and the Zeta that we used at the start of the play. So Zeta comes on back, and then we are able to use Ben 10's effect in the grave to get an additional search. The search here is kind of a flex spot, right? So if you want to see one of the best cards to search, wait until the next combo. You'll really get to see it. But in this situation, we're just going to search off Alancia because it's an additional form of interruption. But if you wanted to, you'd search Natasha and use it as follow-up. Now, from here, we're going to keep on going. We're going to use Megalith's effect in the graveyard, reducing either one of the names. It doesn't matter, but this is going to be our next step. Reduce to add back. Then we're going to overlay our good boys on field, and we're going to summon out our Moy Beta. Moy Beta is going to Foolish Burial from deck, sending off Alpha because we haven't used Alpha yet. Then we'll use Alpha's effect, pitching off that Ophiel from the field. There's a reason why we're doing that, not using the Bethor in hand, and you'll see why a little bit later. And we'll summon our boy out right here. Now, Alpha, in this situation, for this example, is going to search out our Draconids, all right? Now, next step here is going to be taking that Beatrice and that Alpha from our board, throw them down into the graveyard so we can summon our artifact Dagda. And that's right, we're still Scythe locking here. I feel bad about it, but we got to do it because we got to be absolute savages here. We use Megalith, detach 2, but first we're going to be triggering off that Dagda because we want to get our free Scythe and set that joint down in the back row. So we're going to detach 2 off here. We're going to summon off that Draconids from the hand because why not? It's 100% free. Might as well. So from this point onward, we're actually going to go and finish up our board by taking the Dagda and the Moy Beta. I told you this guy was coming back. Sprite Elf is here, and Sprite Elf effect is going to actually bring back our Megalith Fool for 100% free. Now, again, guys, the same way we did it earlier, because this is level 2 in the grave, it cannot be normal summoned or set, but we did already legally summon it earlier in the turn. You can do this, in case you were unsure. So, when the opponent's main phase rolls around, again, guys, we get to do the same shenanigans we were doing earlier. We can bring back that Diviner, use Diviner's effect to send the Entis, and then Entis's effect will pop the Scythe and use Scythe's effect to special summon itself and then Scythe lock them. Now, I like to keep the zones that Elf points to open so you can protect these cards from targeting. Does it come up? It can. It theoretically can, so that's why we're trying to be careful there. But, you know, a smart opponent would hit a different card. Now, look at this, guys. So we got the Scythe locked and loaded. We also have Draconid send for up to 2, and then we also have the Fool on field as an additional interruption, which we can sack off, you know, these guys to summon the Bethor from hand. We can sack off itself and one of the other names. We can do a lot, but that's why we left the Bethor in here, because it's going to give us multiple pops based on the rituals with different names we have in the grave. So again, guys, that's off of one name. Now, if you guys want to see the full nut combo, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to show you guys what Alpha Zeta can do in Megalith Drytron when you're going to, for the max, insane combo, all right? So let's just wrap things up with that. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've made it to the end of the video. And for that, I want to thank you. And with that comes your reward, and that being the best Drytron combo, the highest ceiling one off Alpha Zeta that I got to show you for this video, all right? So I'm not going to preface it too much. You watch, enjoy, give it a try. That's all I got to say. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right, guys, Alpha and Zeta, you already know how we're starting things off. We're gonna start things off with Alpha's effect, pitching off that Zeta like so, and grabbing ourselves our homie Ben 10. We'll use Zeta's effect Engrave, pitching off that Ben 10, special summoning itself, adding Meteonis. Ben 10 effect here, we'll search Diviner, and then we overlay into our friend Moy Beta. Now again, guys, it's gonna be very similar to our usual Megalith combo lines, but with a little bit of twist at the end, taking some inspiration from our boy Jordy and really making it as good as it can be. So we're gonna send off that Gamma like so, and then we are gonna normal summon our Diviner and use Diviner's effect to send Herald of the Arclight and search ourselves a Megalith Ophiel. Look at that, smooth with it. Now we'll activate that Meteonis in our hand, detach off that Moy Beta, and summon that Ophiel from our hand. You guys already know what is Nibiru, not a problem for us. Ophiel is gonna add Megalith Fool like so, and that should be in our graveyard, so let's stick that where it belongs, right where the sun don't shine. We'll take these two, sink them off into our Barone, because we're not dealing with any Nibirus today. We're not losing to that guy, so we're gonna summon our Barone like so. Then we are going to use the effect of our Gamma Engrave, pitching off that Fool in our hand, summoning itself and the name that we detached off Moy Beta. Looking pretty familiar, right? At this point, we're going to go Meteonis effect, reducing that Gamma to add this back to our hand like so. Then we're going to take these two names and turn them into our artifact Dagda, wherever. Next, we'll activate the Meteonis, triggering the Dagda to give ourselves the free artifact Scythe, locked and loaded into the back row. And then we'll detach off of Moy Beta to special summon out Megalith Fool from the grave. We are not done yet though. Fool's effect is going to add back our Ben 10. Meteonis will go to the graveyard, and then we'll use Fool's effect on the field, pitching off the Ben 10 to special summon from our deck, giving ourselves the Ophiel, and then we'll go Ben 10 effect and Ophiel's effect, giving us Bethor and the Chaos Valk. That's right, I told you we were listening to Jordy on this one, and that's because we're really, really disrespecting the tier element deck. We're disrespecting the Dark Ruler no more because we're doing so much in standby phase. You guys already know. Just wait, just see. You'll see. You'll enjoy, trust. All right, from this point, we're going to take our friend Ophiel and our friend 3, 2, 1. From this point, we are going to take the Fool and the Dagda on the top, turn them into our friend Sprite Elf. I told you Sprite Elf was going to be putting in a lot of work here. I did not lie to you. Then we are going to special summon the Chaos Falcon, Heron Special, by banishing the Herald of the Arclight, special summoning it out for free, and then of course overlaying these two guys into the Abyss Dweller. That's right, tier element, absolute joke. And then we can use the Sprite Elf's effect to special summon back that Fool like we did in the previous combo. So look at this, we are very, very locked and loaded here. But I want to flag something for you. If you want to, say we left this zone open like a smart cookie. We left the zone for the Sprite Elf open. We could link these two off if we wanted to in IP Mask Arena, and then we can use the IP during the opponent's turn to tag out for Apo, tag out for Underworld Goddess. There's a million and one things you can do. Or you can just leave that Fool on the field and use it as a free special summon to bring out the Bethor and get more pops that way. The choice is yours, my friend, because we do have that extra Moy Beta just being chilling here. So that's looking pretty good, right and dandy, right? But we really, really, really want to play around that Dark Ruler no more, especially if it's Splight, right? If it's Splight, Dweller's not going to do much of anything to them except for stop the Frog Engine. So we're going to use that Barone effect on our own turn, pop off that Scythe, and then during the opponent's standby phase, in this situation, it's probably better to have your Barone here. During the opponent's standby phase, we're going to return that Barone, special summon that Scythe out from the graveyard, and use Scythe effect to lock them out that way. And then we hold our Sprite Elf to special summon the Diviner on their turn as an additional form of interruption. So that means we've got the Scythe lock, we've got the Barone negate if we choose to hold it, or we can tag it out for the Scythe to play around the Dark Ruler no more. We got the Elf bringing back the Diviner, we got the Fool to special summon Bethor as additional pops, and then we've got the Dweller locking out the graveyard. That's a pretty high ceiling combo. But I think you guys might be able to push it further. And I know I can probably push it a little bit further too. But if you guys enjoyed this first volume of Drytron combos, be sure to smash that like button, hit over 100 likes so I can give you guys another deck profile and a sequel to this one. There is infinite Drytron combos out there, and it is my mission to share them all with you. So thank you so much for joining us. I'll talk to y'all soon. Logan JYA signing off. Have a great day. I'll see you chumps later. Peace. By the way, this was our gorgeous cameraman. You may know him as Dracomoto, aka J-Rad. Zoom in on his head. Say something.
Bro.